Alright folks, so what we have here is a Baofeng UV-5R handheld radio. What I wanted to do is just take a quick look at it, open this box up, see how it ships, see what it packs with, and then do some transmission and receiving tests. But before we do that, why don't you go grab yourself a nice cold one, come on back, and we'll get started. Alright, so hopefully everybody made it back. And before we get started, what I wanted to say is I was contacted by the folks over at tmart.com, which is an online website. They're a retailer. And they asked if I would do a review of this Baofeng radio. And if you follow my channel and all, you know that I like playing around with Baofeng radios, and I like doing reviews. So naturally I agreed. I will put a link to this radio below, the price information, and any coupon codes as I receive them. So that way you'll be able to get this radio for them as well. It shipped from China within about 6 days. I received it. So that's pretty good, especially coming from China. All right, let's open up and see what we got. Well, we have a professional quality, user-friendly design user's manual. We'll take a look at this later. Here's the radio. Let's bring it up and get a close-up look at this thing. And here we go. And you can see it's a UV-5RE. So when you have these UV-5R radios, here's where the battery attaches. When you have these UV-5R radios, you have the A, B, C, D, E, and I think they go up even higher. I have a UV-5RE+. And basically, the letter denotes that it's an upgrade to the firmware. So this is one of the more recent ones. You can see its frequency range is 136 to 174 megahertz and 400 to 520. And both of those, this is a dual band radio, so it does UHF and VHF. Both of those sets of bands, this radio is actually a little bit bigger. So there are some frequencies that you can receive on, and this radio doesn't prohibit you from transmitting on, which is illegal in some instances. You need to be a licensed ham to operate this one, the ham bands. If you're doing any transmission, you can get this radio and then use it to receive or listen to certain frequencies. And it does pick up some public utilities like fire department and police bands. All right, let's see what else we got in the box. And we have a battery. Let's see what we got here. These are lithium-ion batteries. And this one is 1800 milliamp hours, and it operates at 7.4 volts. We're going to go ahead and we're going to click this to the radio and see if I can zoom in on this. And it snaps right on. Taking a look in the box, we have some other goodies. This would be a earpiece that you can put in, and it has a microphone as well. So you can operate these radios on what's called Vox, VOX control. And that means that you don't have to use the push-to-talk button. As you speak into this microphone, anything that you say will be transmitted because it'll be picked up automatically. You won't have to use the push-to-talk button here. And this looks like a little foam microphone inserter for the earpiece. Looks like we got an antenna. Well, that's always good. When you get a radio like this, do not key them up. One, unless you're authorized to do so. But second, without an antenna on there, you can basically fry the innards of your radio, and you don't want to do that. So there we go. Let's turn this thing on and see what happens.
Channel mode.
So it's set to English and comes up in channel mode. You can switch to frequency mode, but it's going to be the same because there's no channels programmed in this radio at this time. I have some other other videos that show how to program these radios, and I'm planning on doing one where it shows all the menu functions. It's a little bit outside what I want to do with this particular video, so watch them if you want to learn some more about these radios. Also comes with a pocket clip that you can attach right here. Just remove these two screws and you can put that on. Comes up with a wall wart AC adapter. You can use this to power your charger. A lanyard, and I believe that would hook in right here if you chose to use this lanyard. It looks like the battery's shipped fully charged, which is great. And the last thing that we have in here is your charging cradle. And you just go ahead and you drop your radio into this charging cradle, plug it into the wall, and away you go. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to stop this video, and we're going to come back and we're going to do some transmission and receive tests with this at about 1 kilometer. I know it's not too far, but it's on the other side of my neighborhood. It's going to go up and down a hill and through a series of houses, and we'll see how this radio sounds when it transmits, and we'll also see how it sounds when it receives. Alright guys, see you in a little bit. For the transmission test, we will be listening on my Yaesu FT2900R 2-meter ham radio.
Performing a test at 5 watts with the Baofeng UV-5RE handheld ham radio. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Performing a test at 5 watts with the Yaesu FT6020R handheld ham radio. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Performing a handheld ham radio test. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2.
Alright folks, and that's going to wrap up the testing for transmission and reception that I wanted to do. So this thing actually transmitted. It was received by my base station just about as well as it was for the FT60 from Yaesu. And you also got to hear this receive a signal from the FT60, which was pretty staticky and was a little bit hard to hear. In all fairness, though, I did not compare a reverse of this broadcasting and the FT60 recording. So this performed pretty well. We were at 1 meter with, I would say, a moderate amount of man-made structure in between the area.